What is happening, YouTube? Welcome to the Rush Dimension, and today I'm going to be showcasing my Salamangreat Deck Profile. It is a slightly different variant, but I'll explain my card choices as I go through the profile. So let's just go straight into this. For the Salamangreats, it's mostly standard. Obviously everyone has their personal preference to how many copies work for them. This is the ratio that worked for me for the most part. I play the triple Foxy because of the side deck Mystic Mine. Ooh, Mystic Mine! Yes, I side deck the Mystic Mine to help me break boards because Salads have a hard time surviving the current meta and some of the previous ones, although boasting a 53% win rate against most online decks currently. But this was my lineup going in. I wanted to see enough Salads along with the Gazelle to get that going, as well as having enough in hand and in grave going into turn 1 and the following turn from the opponent. So I played the 3 Foxies, extenders was the 3 Spinnies, as well as the 2 Jaguar, and then the freshly newly printed from Ghost from the Past Falco. And unfortunately we can only play 1 Gazelle, but I pray that comes off the ban list pretty soon. I don't see why they can't do it. Then my starters of choice over the Buffalo was the Lady Debug, but I'll explain that going in forward. The reason why I chose this over the Buffalo is because this is a level 4 and it stays a cyber, so it's still within the archetype. It can search level 3 or lower, which is brilliant. And although it doesn't chain block, this usually opts the Ash in hand, and then if you have the extensions you can just continue over that. This searches a few other cards that I will show you next within the deck, the reason why I played this card over the Buffalo. My tech choice was the microcoders. Reason why I chose microcoders because you can actually use this from your hand going into the transcode talker or the access code talker, and then this can search you a Signet Mining, which was my original idea, adding this card in. And then I found the counter trap. It's an Omnigate and it actually banishes the card, and your opponent cannot use that name up until the end of the next turn, which actually shut off a lot more decks than I anticipated. So this was better than what I thought it would be. I just wanted an additional card or an extender on my boards going forward, because the Salamangreat board for me as a combo deck player was slightly too basic and too easy for them to attack over. So that was my spice going in. And then obviously the Parallel Exceed can be used in extensions, can be used to make rank 4s. I will show you my rank 4 of choice going in, but it's interchangeable with any rank 4. But this was brilliant. Ever since the card came out, it's always been a staple in my Salad deck. Hand traps is the triple Ash, triple Ghost Spell, brilliant for this format. Ash generically kills most decks, and the Haunted Mansion I actually found stops the DD Crows from taking cards out of your graveyard, as well as murdering the Drytron players as well as your Tri-Brigades. So that's the choice that I made over running something like Imperm or Veiler. So I have slightly less hand traps in my build to facilitate the additional counter trap in the form of Signet Conflict. Then obviously the triple mining. Best part is obviously if you draw the conflict, you search this and you just go further into your plays. So this was for the spells, this is my card of choice. Will obviously be 3 Signet Mining, can't play less than that. If Circle comes back, you'll play 3 of this, but we'll be waiting patiently on that. I play the double Will. 3 was slightly too bricky for me. Seeing multiples in hand, it was annoying, and you can add this back with the Falco as well as the Sunlight Wolf. So, and using this to summon from hand or grave, or soul charging a bunch of cards back to the field, it's just too good not to run. Worst case that I've actually done before is I've dropped 1 and I've played only the 1 if I wanted more of a control variant, so you add more traps in, or amongst other things. So those are the staples for me, the 1 Circle and 1 Sanctuary. playing more than one Sanctuary is, I've tried it because I actually enjoy playing the Salamangreat deck, and you try to make the deck the best version for you going forward, as well as what's suitable for your meta. Double Sanctuary was good for a while, up until you realize why you should not be running double Sanctuary. It's, yeah, self-explanatory. My traps of choice was triple strike. I chose the strike over the imperm because I want to get rid of the threat that goes off, as well as if one of your salad of choice on field, the link, gets kaiju'd or removed from the field, switching off your back row, you have this as an additional card that can actually do damage when your opponent thinks that they've actually gotten through your board. And then for the salad traps, I played the 2 rage, 2 raw. Reason why I play it in this ratio, so that I can actually see one of them in hand for the most part. 3 was obviously a bit too bricky, so if you draw into the one, you search the other, and vice versa. The rage comes up more than what the raw did for me, because removing cards from the field for today's meta was slightly better, and then following that up with the raws is they can't play through that. And then the last one is the Cyanide Conflict. Like I said, setting this card additionally with your what would have been a normal standard salad board with your Sunlight Wolf Eva at the top or the bottom, and then following it with the Transcode Talker, because you need a face-up Talker monster for this thing to be live. So having this extra was just icing on the cake. Right, going into the extra deck, standard for the most part, triple Bailings, triple Sunlight Wolf, and then your double Heat Leo. For the most part, in previous formats, I actually took out these two because back row decks weren't as heavy, and I had the access code or Borrel Sword to finish the games off. So I actually played one copy of the Nightmare Unicorn and IP over these two, because it wasn't necessary having that many additional Salamangreat cards on the field when you're just standing on the field with your Sunlight Wolf. So that's the basic ratio these days. My personal tech is the Lingeribo, summoning this to the board first and then continuing against the Tri-Brigades. This actually kills their trap. The one Phoenix, because it's fire, and if you need back row removal, I actually played this at 2 some time back when I didn't have Heat Leos. And the one Update Jammer and Transco, which is still a awesome combo. OTK potential going in. If you want to hide your access code from the board, you can use this to finish the game, and going into game 2 or 3 summon the access code, and that just kills them. And then obviously access code. I do not play the Splash Mage, but you can take out the Lingeribo for the Splash Mage if you do the Buffalo version. I chose not to go that route because using access code and removing 2 to 3 or even just 1 card from the field was enough for me. And then my rank 4 choice is the Dugaris the Timeless, because it's fire. You can use this and another salad card on board to go to your Sunlight Wolf. This it opens up a few lines of play which you can draw to if your hand was looking a bit bad. Discard a salad card for extension. This as an OTK button to double the Heat Leo's attack, double the access code, whatever current cards on the field if you need to get over something, especially the AIs, the towers. If you want to kill the towers, you can use this, climb your monster above theirs and just push over, and then freshly off the ban list the one Mirage Stalio. I'll never play more than just the one, but I'm glad the one came back. And then going into the side, again, you play the 3 Droll and Lockbird just for your for an easier game 2 against your Tritrons. Dark Lunar No More, this one actually works quite well in this deck because you have the additional removal coming from the Mirage Stalio. So when you link off and you're using this to remove cards off the board, this actually makes this a lot more viable to play in this deck. And I needed cards in this deck that your opponent cannot respond to. Spell Speed 4s, Super Poly doesn't work in here anymore. There isn't too many link cards that you can play with, and I'm not a big fan of the Chimera. Like I said earlier, I played at Mystic Mine. You can activate this once you've run out of everything. Switch off the board, float back the Foxy to turn this off when you need to. And then the Cosmic Cyclones, this is basically for the rogue back row decks that still run around there, the Eldritch, those type of guys. Main reason is to kill the prank kids going into standby phase, draw phase, whichever phase before the main phase, so that they cannot pull off their Pandemonium. Poor man's Lightning Storm. I played the one Feather Duster and the one Raigeki. They don't expect this anymore. This one, not so much. This might change, but the Raigeki has been brilliant, killing the boards that all the negates has been used. And the last is the Imperial Order, just for the Sky Strikers. They can't play if this thing's face up. Like, comment and subscribe. Please tell us how you feel about the profile. Your comment is greatly appreciated.